Their parents are among the world's elite, but for the children of some billionaires, life can be abnormal and sometimes difficult. Some incredibly rich people parent their children very strictly so as to keep them from becoming spoiled or entitled. Today we're bringing you 10 strict rules that some billionaires' children have to follow. So for all this and more, stay tuned here at Wonderlane. Let's say that you have $1 billion and a baby. What's the game plan for the next 18 years? Be sure to let us know in the comments. So let's start out by heading over to Jay-Z and Beyonce's house. The two musicians and entrepreneurs have amassed a fortune of over $1 billion and are now also the parents of 3 small children. Beyonce is considered an extremely anxious mother, and she has a pretty crazy rule as it pertains to her eldest daughter, Blue Ivy. Anyone who is not an immediate family member must wear gloves and/or a mask when coming into contact with the child. This overcautious measure can be explained by the fact that Beyonce's first pregnancy ended tragically with a miscarriage, and so the singer wants to prevent any potential threats to her daughter. Whether this does more harm than good to Blue Ivy is up for debate. One billionaire parent who would most likely disagree with this tactic is Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, who is currently the second richest person in the world. Bezos also has a pretty crazy parenting tactic, but really it's on the opposite side of the spectrum. Bezos wants his children to take risks and be exposed to some danger from a very early age. Thus, he ceremoniously presents his children with knives and hand tools at the ripe old age of 4. According to some studies, it is beneficial for children's development for them to take risks at an early age instead of placing too much emphasis on safety. Bezos himself said that he'd rather have a kid with 9 fingers than a kid who doesn't know how to help himself. Let's move on to what must be one of the most bizarre parenting moves on this list. It comes from Chinese billionaire Cecil Chow Tse-sung. Chow Tse-sung has a daughter who is now an adult living in France. She is a lesbian married to her partner with whom she had dated for 7 years prior. Her father is, for all intents and purposes, a bit of a homophobe, and he was not a fan of the union by any means. In response, he offered 50 million euros to any man who could seduce his daughter. She took the measure with humor, saying that he just wants attention and he has it now, and I have a very full spam folder. Let's move right along to another one of the world's richest people, Bill Gates. He has 3 children, 2 of whom are students. Although Bill Gates has a fortune of over $90 billion, he will be leaving almost nothing to his children. Bill and Melinda Gates plan to dump almost their entire fortune into their foundation, which seeks to fight the spread of dangerous diseases like polio in third world countries. He will bequeath only 0.01% of his fortune to each of his 3 children. Astonishingly, that's still about $10 million each. But Gates has explained that having as much money as he does can be a bit of a burden that he does not wish to pass down to his children. Cry me a freaking river, Bill Gates. Sign me up for one of those $90 billion burdens. Warren Buffett, billionaire investor and 6th richest person in the world, has a similar attitude. He also plans to donate the vast majority of his fortune, and how much he plans to leave his children is unclear. His son Peter has said that he was taught the value of money growing up. Even though the Buffetts had seemingly infinite money, the kids had to work for the things they wanted. Their father was not one to dote on his children with lavish gifts, and Peter Buffett is very grateful for this, as he feels that he was given the opportunity to make something of himself. Tesla founder and entrepreneur Elon Musk also has his own way of raising children. He is raising 6 sons despite a 90-hour work week, as he is the figurehead of 3 companies. Elon Musk makes it a point that his children are not taught in a regular school together with other children. He instead founded a special school for his children, which takes a more individualized approach to education. On a similar vein, there is another unusual school, which is attended by several billionaires' children, the Lyceum Alpinum in Zouaz, Switzerland, which is considered the most exclusive and expensive private school in the world. The school has many very strict rules. For example, you are only allowed to go home on weekends if you have achieved a grade point average of 1.25 or better. Another strict rule that has brought the school under worldwide attention is the students have to undergo regular unannounced urine tests. If drug use is detected, the school acts quickly and the students are expelled. But let's head back over to the Gates household, where children are forbidden from using technology. You may find this odd, knowing that Bill Gates is the founder of one of the largest software companies in the world. So do we. Only when Gates' children turn 15 can they have access to their own cell phone and computer. His daughters complain about this rule very often, but Gates stuck to it, saying that they would thank him one day. And this is actually a pretty common trend among big tech elite. Mark Zuckerberg kept his daughter off Facebook even after introducing a Facebook Messenger for children, and Steve Jobs prevented his children from getting iPads. Apple's iPad was sort of marketed to kids, but Steve Jobs correctly assessed that it really wouldn't be beneficial for a child to grow up with the entire world at their fingertips like that. But let's not jump into revering Jobs as some great parent though. The founder of Apple was considered a very difficult man during his lifetime, and he allegedly treated his daughter Lisa very poorly. Despite being a billionaire, he was not inclined to pay alimony or child support. He only sent about $300 to his daughter and ex-wife on a monthly basis. His daughter Lisa once made the mistake of asking her father to pay for the house that she and her mother lived in. Jobs did in fact buy the house for himself, putting his family out on the street. Last but not least, we've got multi-billionaire and 45th president Donald Trump. He's known for a very strict style of parenting under which he's raising his son Barron and also his already grown children Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric. Trump had little hope that his children would one day become successful entrepreneurs. He said in a 1990 interview that statistically speaking, the children of successful people always become problem children with very little chance of success. According to biographer Joshua Kendall, the Trump children were raised mainly by nannies. Nevertheless, they had some strict rules imposed on them by their father. They were not allowed to talk to the media under any circumstances, and if reporters approached them, they were required not to answer. Even though the children grew up in a luxurious environment, they had to earn money for things that they wanted. Donald Jr., Trump's oldest son, said that he worked a part-time job in college and that financially speaking, he really had to fend for himself. To what extent these statements are true is unclear. So that'll wrap up this video on the unique and hard-nosed parenting tactics of the world's financial elite. Which of these billionaire parents do you most align with? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe to Wonderlane for more videos like this every week.